Hello everyone, this is Betsy from Ideas Times 2, and today I have a tutorial slash craft with me project. At the end of November, I was determined that I was going to finish this project this year. It's a little bit late in December to be working on this, but I started working on it at the very beginning of December. These are tags from Tracy Fox's 2021 tag December daily series, and I had made a bunch last year and didn't finish. I had 3 or 4 tags left, so I finished those up this year at the end of November, and then started looking around for a box to put them in. We had a family tragedy at the beginning of December, and so I've had to put this project aside, but I was very much encouraged today by a post by my niece. What happened is my sister passed away. My sister Lynn passed away December 3rd, and her daughter, my niece Amber, had this beautiful post about her today that talked about how much Lynn loved Christmas, and how the whole world seemed to be celebrating Christmas in the way that she would love it, because she loved all the trimmings. And so I was encouraged by that to go ahead and pick this project back up again. And like I said, at the end of November, I really was determined I was going to get this project done. And so I decided to go ahead and finish it. So here is what I came up with. So I wanted to make a box for these tags. This box is a great size, I think, but the tags are really slanted in there. I just feel like the box is a little too long. There aren't any dividers or anything in the box, and so they're not standing up very well. And I kind of want them to stand upright just a tad bit more. So I'm going to take these out. I found this box, so you can find, look around and see what you have. I have seen other people had found, beautiful wooden boxes and that type of a thing to hold these tags in. Some, other people who were doing this very same December daily. I found this cardboard box. It was just a box that, I had ordered something and contacts for my eyes. They came in this box. And so I thought, hey, this is it's a great width for sure. Just a tad bit too long, but the height of it was perfect as well. So I'm like, this is the perfect box. And I already had it. So I will be decorating it up with you guys. The first thing I'm going to do is cut off the lid, because I don't need that. And then what I'm going to do is cut, or so the sides are 2 1/8 inches high. And the box, if I remember right, is 7.5 by 4.5. Let's find out. 7.5 by 4.5. 7.5 by 4.5. And then 2 1/8 inches deep, this deep. So what I need to do to make a new side, I need to draw and score a line about 2 1/8 inches this way. And the reason why it's 2 1/8 inches is because I will score it there. After I cut off all this stuff here, I will score it there, and then that 2 1/8 inches will come up and become the side, and it should be exactly the same height. I will have to leave a little bit of extra cardboard on these sides here for the tabs. So let me just show you something real quick here. I'm just going to go ahead and take these off, because I'm going to have to cut this box. It's going to have to be flat anyway. So see what I mean? The tabs, I will need to cut this side a little bit longer and this side a little bit longer, so that I have tabs, because this is going to be chopped off, so I need to make my own tabs over here. So I will do that and then come back. I also need to paint the box, obviously, because I don't want any of these images and words to show through on the decorations. So I'll be back in just a minute. So this is my score line for the box bottom. This is my cut line for the box bottom. See, it's 2 1/8 inches, and I'll be able to fold that up to match these sides. I cut off my top already, and then I measured up 1 inch for some tabs. So that's actually my cut line there and my cut line here, but the score line will be right there, right here, to match the box bottom. So I hope that's not confusing. I should have done all of the cut lines with a dotted line, but I did not, so we'll get that done. So that leaves me with this. I cut off the spots. This is the score line here, and I left it a little bit longer for my tabs. And then I also had to cut the seam right here so it can all be folded. And I just scored it with, I had a palette knife laying around, so I just scored it with that. I just put my ruler down here and scored it with that. So what I'm going to actually do is lift these pieces up with my straight edge. There we go, and it should be pulled up to be a great size. There we go. So I will go ahead and glue that, let it dry, and I'm going to paint it. I couldn't find any masking tape to reinforce my corners, so I just went ahead and cut down some cardstock the right height, and just went around with my cardstock. So that reinforces the corners, but it also covers up all that writing, so I won't have as much painting to do. But I'm still going to paint the whole thing, and I might just paint the seams, because I'll line this with paper. I'm just going to paint the seams where the paper won't necessarily, because I'll do pieces, this piece separate from this piece, so where those pieces are going to come together won't be probably butted up exactly correct, so, or exact, it won't be exact, is what I'm saying. So a little part might show, so I'll paint that part too. So I got to thinking, okay, so I covered up the sides with the cardstock. There were little strips left over, and the tops were rough from cutting cardboard, so I just glued the little strips. They're just little strips, and I just folded them in half and glued them on the top. So it's kind of all actually finished with cardstock, so I thought, well, why not do the bottom with cardstock? So I didn't actually wind up doing a lot of painting. I would have been a couple layers, I think, to get those letters off. So it's basically covered with cardstock. Lots of gaps, because for the method I'm going to try, it's not necessary to have it completely perfect or anything like that. So it's basically just to give it sturdiness and cover up the words and images. And then I finished off the top. Like I said, I didn't have any masking tape, so I just put that leftover cardstock on the top. But as you can see, I did paint the seams on the inside. So that's what that looks like. So now, what's my plan? My plan is to cover the box with Tim Holtz collage paper. Just little pieces, wrapping it so it goes around the lid, or the edge, the top edge. I will be lining this, so if it's uneven on the inside, that's fine, but I'm gonna just, little pieces here and there. I'm gonna cover the whole outside with this collage paper, and I'll be using gel medium, matte gel medium. So I'm going to be using that, and then after it dries, so I'll put on a few pieces with you here, then I'll finish up the box. After it dries, I plan on decoupaging some napkin pieces on there just for a little color and fun. I tried to find napkins that were similar in color to the tags, so it didn't really look out of place. And then my plan was to put these feet on, and I'd forgotten that they were silver, but when I took them out, took them out, I realized they were silver, but which is fine. So I'm going to put the little feet on the bottom as well. And then I wanted to put a little handle on it, and so I found a little silver handle that I had. I had a really pretty gold one, but I decided to match my metals for a change. Like, you can't always do that, but so just a plain little handle that just gets attached with brads. So that's my plan. So we will see how that goes. But for now, what I'm going to do is just start in on the collaging of the sides. Oh, I think I'm going to use this bigger brush. I don't know which one's going to work best, but I think this will be great. So I'm going to just put a thin layer. I don't want to make it too thick because then my paper is going to start to buckle. And it may buckle too, but it's going to be fine. It's going to have sort of a wrinkly look, so I'm not too worried about it. And then I'm going to wrap it around. Just put a little bit more gel medium. I'm going to actually put it on the bottom as well. Okay, so like that piece is done now. And then I'm just going to start tearing and putting them in different directions and overlapping them. Some of these images may not even, you might not be able to see them even, because the napkin will be over the top, and if it's a dark color like the red cardinal, then you might not even be able to see them, but I think it's going to be a fun look, so I'm going to give it a try. So once I you know, get these glued down, I also give it a little bit of a coat on the top too. And like I said, don't use a lot, just a nice thin, very thin layer. All right, I'll do this whole box, let it dry, and I'll be back. All right, I zoomed in just a little bit here. Here it is covered with the collage paper, and I did ink the edges. I haven't done the middle yet. And it's all dry. So what I did was I just took little bits and pieces of each of the napkins, and I have this little water brush, and what I do is, and you probably all know how to do this, but so what I do is take this little water brush, and it could just be a brush with water too, it doesn't have to be a water brush, but since I had this, I thought it'd be handy. So I just took the brush, went around the image I want to pull off of here, and then just gently tug it, and it will give you a nice jaggedy edge and right around your image. So that's how I just gathered a bunch of those here, and I don't even, you can't even see all of them because they're kind of off camera there. So all I'm going to do is use my matte gel medium again. This here, if you have Mod Podge or whatever you have, use that. And so I'm just going to lay them before I get anything glued up or anything. I'm just going to lay them out and see how I want to put them. I want some of the collage paper to show, so I'm not going to do the whole thing covered in napkin, but I do want some of the collage paper to show. So I'll just be fiddling around with it a little bit, and then I'll take some of the matte medium, I'll swipe it on the side, and then, you know, just push these down, and I'm going to decorate this all up, and I'll be back. Then I'll find a Christmas paper that is going to look good to go inside, which I haven't picked out yet, and my bird just flew away. All right, I'll be back in a minute. All done with the decoupaging of the napkins. So I like it. I like it. I think this is my least favorite side, and it was my favorite side at one time. So I don't know, but anyway, I'm pretty happy with it. I like it. So I think what I'm gonna do is spray it with, not spray it, but dot it with white paint to sort of indicate snow. but I'm going to do that after I put the papers in, because I think it would be fun to have some splatters on the papers too that are lining the inside. So for the inside, I picked a polka dotted red and then a red gingham, and those are going to go on the inside to line the box. And all I did was just measure the sides and cut the paper. I also inked the edges just to knock off the white core of the paper, but you can't really see the inking on it. I kind of wish it would show up a little bit better, but I didn't want to overdo it either, so I left that. And then the bottom is just plain, the Tim Holtz paper. So, so far doing okay. I have to put the handle on first so that the little prongs are covered up by paper. So this is my front, and I've already poked holes and measured and poked holes, so I'm going to do that right now. I picked prongs, or I picked brads that had the longest prongs on them that I could possibly find. I might regret this later because I think this came with another handle set, but for now I'm going to do this. So, and it's mixed metals, like this is like that brass color, but can't help it. Alright, so I'm going to poke that in. So I just poked my holes with the awl. If you don't have an awl, you could use a giant needle or something like that. Sorry about that clanging noise, but I did poke the hole. Am I not getting it in the right hole? What's going on here? Turns out the brads are a little soft, or the prongs. There we go. Okay, so I got that in there, and then we're just gonna separate the prongs and make it nice and flat. And usually what I do is just take whatever I have handy and just push them so that they're nice and flat. And then I'll just do the same thing on the other side. Also gonna make that hole as big as I can here. I'm thinking I might hang a charm off of here too, since the handle's, raised like that. I think I'll do a little ball chain or something, and I'll hang a couple charms off of there. I think that'll be cute. Okay, so just going in here again and separating those prongs and then flattening them as much as I can. Okay, so there's my front, there's the handle. Now I will be just gluing these down on the inside. Alright, so I have the box all lined, and there are still, there's a few areas where the white paint shows through, but for the most part it doesn't, but it doesn't bother me. Just 4 pieces, 5 pieces of paper, not 4, 5 pieces of paper, all individually glued in. Okay, but I like it. It's good. So I did also add 2 bells and a bell charm to that handle there. So that's what's making the noise. Maybe I'll take that off for now because I'm going to splatter. I'm going to splatter with paint now. And this chain is very small, so I got it on. Surely I can get it back off again. There we go. Alright. So I'll take that off. And here we go. Alright, so I just have a little bit of white gesso here in this dish. I'm going to use some water from my water brush that I was using earlier and make it a little bit runny. I think that'll work. Let me put that lid back on. And then you just need a stiff brush, and then you can do this in a number of ways. I think I'll just use my finger and just start splattering. And as you notice, I've got paper covering my work surface. And I'm gonna have to set it on something so it doesn't, so I can do the whole thing. I think that'll work. Maybe get some bigger drops too, so make it a little bit thicker. Oh. Okay. I was trying to show you so that I'll try to do it one-handed, so literally just flicking this with my finger. Some is getting on the handle. I don't really care about that either. Okay, gonna get it a little bit so you can kind of see the splatters on there. Make it look like snow, so I'm gonna get a little bit more. I can't set this down on its side, but this might be thin enough to give me some bigger drops. It is. I can just use it straight out of the bottle. Sometimes gesso is super thick and you can't do that. There we go. So a little bit out of frame. Sorry about that. And that side looks pretty good there. Okay, so then I think I'm going to splatter some on the inside too, just a little bit. I see I have sort of a fingerprint there too. Ah, not the best, not the best. Let's see if it comes off. Oh well, it's no big deal. Trying to get it mostly on the sides. Yeah, it's looking good. Dab a little bit on the top. All right. Could even do just bigger dots here and there. All right, I think that's good. I think that's good. Got a little more. All right, I like it. So I'm going to let this dry and I'll come back with the feet. Okay, it is all dry, nice and splattered. And now we're going to put the feet on and then it's done. So I already put 3 of the feet on. And these, you can get these, I think Tim Holtz has these. I don't know if these are Tim Holtz brand or not. But there's also at Hobby Lobby, I think is where I got these. So I'm just taking hot glue gun. And putting a little in the center so that it doesn't squish out on the sides. So, and I'm putting it in just a little ways because the box is slightly rounded on these edges. Probably because of the papers I've put on. So I'm just putting it in just a little bit. And now it'll stand up on little feet. Like that. Alright, and that is it. So, also for feet you can use large beads. You could use little wooden finials, little wooden spools. You can use all kinds of things for the feet, just so as long as you have 4 of them and you can put them in the corners. Also, Also, if you don't have gesso, you can use acrylic paint. I'm trying to think of what else. If you have puffy paint or fabric paint, sometimes you can get all those things to work out the same way. So use what you have. Just get that all and make it your own. So now I'm going to put the tags in the box, but they all became separated a little bit, so put them in a little bit at a time here. And then hopefully we have just right. Oh goodness, so many tags. They're so cute. Tracy Fox is amazing in my opinion. She is one talented lady. Alright, I'm going to try to zoom backwards just a tiny bit. You will see some of the mess on my desk here, but okay, so here we go. Here's the box, and they stand upright. And I guess I'll just hold it off to the side because you can't really see, whoops, can't really see the view when I set it down. So see, still lots of room in the box. You could probably put another half a dozen tags in there. And this way. And I had a lot of fun making this. I'm so glad I pushed through and finished the project. It was my goal to have a couple things I've been just putting off and get them finished up. So I'm super glad to get this done. I hope you guys enjoyed my kind of craft with me, and it'll inspire you to find, if you're needing a decorative box, or if you actually did the Tracy Fox tag. Even for this year, she's doing tags again. So if you are doing those, then this might help you, inspire you to find something around the house and use that. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, then I just hope your season is lovely and relaxing. And take care, everybody, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.